Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 2396 of the show. How's it going, everybody? For the record, just to let you know, I did appear on Chayton's stream. As you know, Chayton did a little video exposure of me somewhat. It's just all for kicks and giggles and all that. I do apologize for some of the stuff the AI version of me has said, but some of the stuff the AI version of me has said I actually agree with, and that's how, he made my character, he made my AI version of me look pretty good. I have to admit, Chayton did a good job of that, but I still hate Lima Beans. I don't have a race car bed. That was started by Tyler Calvert, who needs to get his prescription glasses checked, because there's no wheels under my bed. Anyways, sort of. So there's that. So just to let you know. All right. So, boy. So, anyways, let's talk about AEW Dynamite, the fallout from All In. And Tony Schiavone had the interview with Hangman Adam Page, the new AEW World Champion, and he addresses the Chicago crowd. He says he's proud to be champion of the world. He's a fighting champion. He'll never back down. And now you know that MJF's got the contract, which he can use at any time. The first matchup of the night is an internationally flavored matchup with Mexico Mascara Dorada, formerly known as Grand Metalik, went up against Kyle Fletcher, with Don Callis showing up and Lance Archer both showing up at ringside during the matchup. But in the end, Fletcher ended up winning the matchup. Then the Young Bucks, who had traveled by small car, all the luxury and the crap that they, luxury crap that they had when they were the EVPs, that's out the window. They were not be able to do a change in their special locker room suite and all, and they had to be forced to change their clothes below the basement, which is really funny. And then when they fucking had the gall to interview, "Hi guys, what are you doing here?" And Young Bucks were being grumpy, they were complaining, and then Marina Shafir, they confronted her walking, and then she walked by them, shaking her head, not saying a word. And then I think that one of the stagehands said, wait a minute. I think it was the Charlie guy that we seen on Being the Elite. He crossed out EVPs, but Matt and Nick, which is hilarious. And then, they were confronted by Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, and this is ugly down here, yeah, aha, and all that. They were adjusting himself, and then Don Callis says, "Hey, I know how you feel, but we got Kenny Omega out of the way. That's the upside. Now, we make a deal. We'll team it up with a couple of my guys and see if we can set things right." So, and in fact, Doug Callis hugged him, and the Young Bucks don't kind of believe him. See, don't trust Don Callis in any way possible. So, that's a little bit on the crazy side, man. Let me tell you. Anyways, so there's that. Then the Hurt Syndicate addresses All In Texas with MJF winning the Casino Gauntlet. He's got the contract. He's addressing Hangman Adam Page. And then everything has to be timed perfectly. And then MVP talking about the AEW Tag Team Division, who's going to step up next against the Hurt Syndicates, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. By the way, Shelton Benjamin, his birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to Shelton, belated birthday to Shelton Benjamin. And yeah, Michin, a.k.a. Mia Yim, roasted him on his birthday as well, which is funny. You can't get enough of Mia Yim and Shelton Benjamin, let me tell you. That was the All-Star 8-Man Tag Team matchup. On one team, Hechicero and Josh Alexander, the Don Callis family, and the Young Bucks versus Jet Speed, Ring of Honor World Champ Bandito, and Brody King. Jet Speed is the king of Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. And the Young Bucks entrance, well, the crew decided to screw around with the entrance and had... And they were trying to do the pose, and there's no pyro. And then it had Matt and Nick, they're bouncing around with a thing. And then it showed the clip of Will Ospreay and, speaking of Will Ospreay, Hangman Adam Page addressed him, saying he was one of the casualties to defeat the Young Bucks. And Will Ospreay, they showed Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland bashing them and all that. And so everybody's booing there, laughing as this Matt and Nick, and it says no longer EVPs. And then Justin Roberts says, they used to be EVPs, but not anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, Rancho Cucamonga, Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks. Said it so fast. And Matt and Nicholas Jackson, hey, you're no longer EVPs. We don't do what you thought, you little brats. Well, those Young Bucks, the Beavis and Butthead of professional wrestling, focus on being a great tag team. And you know what it is? The Young Bucks' money and a position of authority has gotten to their heads, so much so. You got to be taking them down the peg, and that's what Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay decided to do, which is nuts. Don Callis joined on commentary, but in the end, the Bucks, Alexander, and Hechicero won. Hechicero won by a sleeper hold on Mascara Dorada. So you got that. Adam Copeland addresses the Chicago crowd, saying that he's here to end FTR. FTR kind of interrupts him, but it was in the form of Stokely Hathaway with security. And then Stokely Hathaway's like, you're not allowed. And I talked with Tony Khan and everybody else. You're not allowed to touch FTR. If you do, you're fired. But then Stokely Hathaway sends the security to attack Adam Copeland, but Copeland took care of them. He ended up spearing Stokely Hathaway. The love child, Charles Barkley, and Kevin Hart got what's coming to him. Wham, you complain too much. And it's like the top 5 people on wanting AEW to shut up. The Young Bucks count as 1. All right. 2, Stokely Hathaway. 3, MJF. 4, I'm going to have to say Jon Moxley, because he can't keep his mouth shut. No, forget Shawn Moxley. Wheeler Yuta. And 5, who can't stand? Also, I can't stand in AEW. I'm going to go with Ricochet. Yeah. Anyways, but then again, who knows? Then Mark Briscoe says he'll make MJF pay. And even though he did not win the matchup, he's going to make MJF pay in the gauntlet match. And then there's a 4-way match for $100,000. Tekla versus Queen Amanada versus Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale. And Julia Hart misted Queen Amanada, and her and Sky Blue helped Tekla win the matchup. And $100,000. Is Tekla going to join forces with Julia Hart and Sky Blue? That's a dangerous team if that's the case. And then the AEW Women's World Champion, the gorgeous, curvaceous, and babylicious, timeless Toni Storm, had her victory speech addressing the women's division. She addressed Mercedes Moné. But then, while she was making her speech, she was interrupted by the Women's Casino Gauntlet winner, Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, alongside her minion, Billy Starks. And they had a war of words, and next week, the Timeless One will be in action against Billy Starks. Then Kip Sabian and Nick and Shayna Wayne addressed Christian Cage. And they basically don't want him in the group anymore. So there's that. Don Callis introduces Kazuchika Okada, new AEW Unified Champion. And as he took on Rafael Quintero, Okada won the match with the Rainmaker. And then Callis and Okada were addressing Swerve Strickland, and Okada calls him out. Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana head to the ring. They confronted him. while Don Callis and Kazuchika Okada retreated. Wimp. And then the main event, a trios match of Mark Briscoe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hangman Adam Page, the world champ, took on the Death Rider team of Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. And heck of a trios match of Page, Hobbs, and Briscoe ended up winning the matchup, and then the Death Riders continued to attack Hangman and Adam Page after the match. And then Darby Allin showed up in the skybox, staring down the whole thing, and the Death Riders kind of looked up, and then they decided to retreat. So, that is it for episode 2396 of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. Friendly reminder, tomorrow on the Rant and Rave podcast at 6 o'clock, we will have the honor of interviewing Demolition. And 2, at 6:30, we'll be interviewing Demolition. Also, we're going to have Press Your Luck tomorrow and TNA. The final TNA before Slammiversary, and I will make my picks and predictions for TNA Slammiversary coming this Sunday. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys tomorrow on those episodes I was talking about. Until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.